Hello everyone, Miss Carrie here from Miss Carrie's Creations. Today I'm joining the Not Too Shabby design team for the June Donut Fun Hop and Giveaway. By using the hashtag N2SDonutFun, you will be able to view all the creations made using the new stamp and die of the month. Make sure you stick around to the end of this video to learn more about this month's gift card giveaway. Today I'm going to be sharing a simple slimline shaker card project with the Donut Fun stamp set, and I'm going to show you how to create a layered stamp design using masking material. I've already gathered my supplies for this project. They include a slimline card base, a piece of cardstock cut at 3.5 by 8.5, a slimline frame, some acetate and foam strips, a masking sheet, sequins, and the Donut Fun stamp set. As I create today's project, I'll bring in a few additional supplies and I'll list those in the description below, along with the link to the Not Too Shabby shop. Before I start designing the background for my shaker card, I'm going to need to create some masks by stamping these images on a masking sheet. Masking paper is a thin, adhesive backed paper that temporarily sticks to your project, covering the area or image that you don't want to get ink, spray, or paint onto. These images are going to need to be fussy cut. If you use dies, they will leave a white area around the image, which will create a gap between our stamped images. So cutting these out will allow us to get as close to the lines as possible. We aren't going to be stamping over the center of the donuts, so you don't need to worry about cutting those out for this project. Off camera, I finished cutting out my stamping masks. Now I can plan out my donut stack. It's best to pre-plan so that you know which images are going to need masked or covered when you add another donut to the stack. In my design, I'm going to place the bear at the base, then a frosted donut, then the little fox. The frosted donut is going to be layered behind the other two, so I will want to stamp those first, add my masks, then stamp the frosted donut image. Once the first two donuts are in position, I can remove the backing sheet from these two masks and layer them over the top. Now, you don't want to throw away that backing sheet because these paper masks can be reused. I like to store mine with the stamp set so that I have them ready to use on my next project. With the bear and fox masks in place, I'm going to lay the frosted donut and panda bear stamp in place, and then I'll ink these two images and add them to the stack of donuts. Now I'm going to lay the two masks over the donut images and stamp the last one at the top. You really don't need that frosted donut mask to stamp the final image. I just plan on layering some ink over all of these, so I'm going to lay the mask over the top as I add that panda mask. Alright, now our stack of donuts is complete. At this point, you can remove all the paper masks and start shading your image. For my design, I want a soft pink shading in the background, so I'm going to add another mask to that top donut image and use these to protect my design as I add ink. This is just another simple way that you can use your stamped image paper masks. Not only are they great for layering stamped images, but they also protect the images you have stamped from inks or sprays that you add to your project. I've also used paper masks to create background designs, borders, and shapes for blended inks. If you want to add another medium to your work, it's recommended that you test the ink and masking material beforehand. Several masking materials have coatings that prevent certain inks from setting, which can cause smudging or smearing when you add your ink or ink spray. You'll also need to check whether the masking sheet can handle wet mediums. Be aware that some masking sheets are only suitable for non-pigmented inks and may allow wet mediums to seep through the material. All right, now is the time for the big reveal. As I remove the masking material, you'll be able to see how all those images sit next to each other without any overlapping lines. And the pink ink goes right up to the edge. This is why it was important to hand cut those images right up to those lines rather than using the dies. Now we're going to add some color to these donuts. Today I'm going to skip most of the coloring process. I have quite a few videos here on my channel explaining how to use tri-blends, create shading, and how to blend the hues. Instead, I'm just going to give you a few quick tips. If you want to create more of a baked blonde donut, I found that a mix of gold yellow and fair skin creates a nice white cake color. To create a chocolate donut or chocolate frosting, I used a mix of red, brown, and tan shades. These two were blended together with a little shading, and they created this yummy looking color. If you want to create a translucent glaze look with a bright color like I did here, use your blender tool. The blender softens the ink, giving it more of a hazy, translucent feel like a glazed donut. Now, I know that was rather quick, but you probably already have some ideas of how you're going to shade these with your preferred medium. So we're going to move on to the shaker card assembly. I have already stamped my sentiment at the top of the card, and I've brought in my supplies for the shaker frame. The acetate I use has a protective covering on the front and back, so I need to remove this first before I adhere it to the frame. I like using double-sided tape to adhere the acetate in place. Today my office is a bit staticky with all the storms raging outside, so I'm going to do my best to line this up, and then I'll add some foam tape strips around the frame. I use 1/8 inch strips to create my foam frame. These allow me to build a barrier around the sides. Once the foam tape is in place, I'm going to use an anti-static brush on the acetate. This will stop those little gems and sequins from sticking to the acetate instead of moving around the card. Before I fill the frame, I'm going to adhere a few sequins to my background. One common issue with shaker cards is that the small pieces tend to collect at the bottom, and they're only visible when the card is shaken. By adhering a few pieces to the background, you can ensure that those lovely little bits are always present inside the window. The fixed elements also act as a trap for the loose pieces, which creates a fun background design. After adding a little pile of confetti and clay bits to the center of my background, I can remove the backing from the foam tape and adhere the frame in place. Now we have a lovely little shaker card. I'm going to wrap some ribbon around this and adhere it to a card base, and then I'll show you the finished design. This is such a cute little shaker card filled with vibrant colors. That stack of donuts is just too cute, and they were easy to create using the masking methods I shared with you today. I hope that all the projects created by the design team inspire you. Don't forget to sign up for the giveaway. The prize is a $25 gift card to the Not Too Shabby shop. Information about how to take part in the giveaway and the sign-up link can be found in the description below, with a list of the supplies I used on this project. I want to thank you for joining me for another card making tutorial. If you have any questions about this project or the supplies listed below, feel free to leave me a comment. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.